As the construction and civil engineering sector in Asia undergoes rapid digitalization, industry leaders are leveraging advanced technologies to enhance efficiency and collaboration. This transformation is crucial for addressing challenges such as labor shortages and sustainability. We recently visited Arup's operations in Hong Kong to speak to Sankar Villupuram, Director and East Asia Digital Services Leader, around his observations and views on the evolving transformation of the construction industry in Asia.
So that's a really good question. So the construction industry, as you know, from mainland China market, has been on exponential boom over the last 3 decades. And during the pandemic, again, every country started investing more and more on infrastructure. They were trying to drain their treasuries of all the good-earned money, hoping things will fall in place after the COVID. But as what we saw after the COVID, most of the major markets has not yet recovered. And there is an impact because the government were investing money, including Hong Kong. Now we are, for the first time, second time or third time, we are in a deficit. And that is a direct impact because there's not enough money anymore from the government's pockets to invest on infrastructures, bridges. And simultaneously, there is a kind of spillover into property developers. There's a lot of residents available everywhere, not only in Hong Kong, but also mainland China or Singapore. These are the markets now where there are too many residents available and less investors. That is the change in shift in construction industry that normally the first impact will be on consultants. When the government stops spending, the consultants will be the first one to slow down. And then the contractors, the civil engineers, they will be the next one. So the next couple of years, the consultants, including Arup, it was not an easy way for the last couple of years. And the next couple of years will be the contractors, and they will start feeling the pinch of the slowdown. That's actually, again, another brilliant question. Data is actually very cultural, if I may say so. The reason of that is a matured organization would actually use everything by data analytics basis. And then they would not know what's the answer, but they would be willing to go through this process and journey to know what is the answer and whether it's logical. But maybe emerging, I won't say immature, let's say emerging company would like to know what is the answer before I can go and do the data analytics, right? And if the answer will be seemingly very positive, then I'm going to go back. So it's, in a way, it's Asian way of preparing for exam. I want to prepare the answer first and then go back to the question later. So that is how the matured and emerging companies are varying in their strategy with data. Again, maybe 5-10 years ago, you would be having less data to do the analytics. But today our problem is not less data. The problem is like there's a lot of data and we just don't know how to make sense of it. And that is where it is a journey, including Hong Kong Airport. They announced that they want to be data-driven airport. But it's not only Hong Kong Airport, Changi does the same. Then we are talking about city level, that we are data-driven cities. So what does it mean to be data-driven? Data is still only raw data, but you have to make sense of it to make a useful information. And that is where is the gap. You have data, but you have to do the analysis to convert the raw data into information. And that needs people to come together. And it is correct. I will probably quote Jack Ma's quote, making intelligent people work together is very difficult. And the organization hire a lot of intelligent people and they all have their own KPIs. So in order for you to have a unified and holistic view of doing a strategy, is a lot of smart, small kingdoms, in a Chinese way, little kingdoms to come together. And the little kingdoms still operate in their own silo world. And that is the challenge. It's not the problem of technology. It's not the problem of data. It's about what I want. And sometimes what every business wants is from their perspective first. And so it is important for a good leader to bring them together. Absolutely, 100%. it is also necessary now more than before, because construction industry, if you look into the age demography, there is a big age demographic gap of almost 15 years. That means the people will be retiring soon, but we don't have enough people to come into a construction industry. And so the knowledge transfer is really not that common. And this is very, very important. This is where artificial intelligence and technology play a huge role to narrow down this knowledge transfer in an effective way. I think that is unavoidable, it is mandatory, and it is necessary. Before going to the common data platform, which itself has been interpreted by different people in different way. So the construction industry has three phases: design, construction, and operations. So if you ask what is a common data platform to these three different individuals, they will all interpret in different way. Because during a design stage, there's a common data platform, and which will not be transferred back to the construction stage, and that will not be passed back to the operation stage. Still, it's not a common data platform. You're talking about three different silo common data platforms here. So a collective common data platform, holistically or in a utopia world, is you have one platform where the data seems transfer seamless way from design to construction to operation. At the end of the day, the whole idea of the platform is you can increase a building's life, say from 40 years to 75 years. That's the objective, right? If you can increase a building life from 40 to 75 years, you're constructing less, you're keeping green world, cost is efficient, there is always benefits for everybody. You're reducing the wastes. But because we are still having the design stage, construction stage, and operation stage, we are not making the good use of what is possible. But that's an opportunity. That's a great opportunity for this era, where we can think about bringing people together. We're not bringing technology together. We are bringing operations team and construction team and the design team to come together. And that is the transformation, the people transformation that you talked about. It's a multi-pronged question, actually. When we talk about skills, even our education system is changing. When we are talking, I'm sitting on some university's advisory board. When we are talking about civil engineering, today, if I need to hire, do I want a civil engineer, or do I want a civil engineer with Python programming knowledge? Do I want only a mechanical engineer, or do I want a mechanical engineer with analytical capability? So even our education system is slowly shifting, being a single discipline to an interdiscipline, because the world is changing very fast. We are using AI and data analytics, which is mandatory. But can I ask a software engineer to develop a software for civil engineering? Will never work, because it's easier for a civil engineer to learn Python rather than a Python programmer to learn civil engineering. And this is Arup's view as well. Most of the software that we develop is not developed by a software developer. It's developed by engineering with a passion for software development. So skill development is two parts. One part is multidisciplinary, embedding at an education level. The second part is practical skills, because a lot of times, at least when I used to study, what I learned is not what I am working. And I had no clue about when I go to the job. Oh, I learned those complex formulas which I don't understand where is the use here. But today, the skill development from BTC, for example, these are really very practical. They can come and do the work quickly. So education systems are changing to upgrade the education into practical skills. And the second part is on vocational training councils, and especially in Hong Kong BTC, they do an amazing job giving practical education to the people who can contribute to the industry. They may not be good in PowerPoint, but they will be an excellent engineer. I won't call the word sustainability. I will call, do you want to be transparent in your business? Because if you can't accept what you're doing, you're never going to be sustainable. The sustainability point is not just only the process. Everybody can write the process, but are you willing to accept that I'm not good enough today from sustainability, and I can do better, more? So it is a continuous journey. It's not like a 0 to 1 process from sustainability. We are always can be better, but in order to be can be better, you need to know where are you today. And that is very, very important. Going back to the construction industry, a few years ago, not very long ago, I had this chat with a contractor where you're not supposed to do a construction work after 6 p.m. Okay, are you following that? The answer is I don't know, and I don't want to know, because if I put a sensor there and it will record every second, then there is an evidence, and I can't avoid the evidence. So sometimes technology is 0 or 1, and 0 or 1 is not preferred by businesses. Why? Because if there is 0 or 1, you can't say that I don't know. But if you have a paper and write it here, you can always say that somebody forgot to write it, or the paper went missing. So technology is actually on the opposite side. Technology gives you transparency, but if the business is ready to be transparent, they will accept the technology. I didn't plan an answer for this, and it's not supposed to be promoting, but I'll tell you a project that we worked on, and they did extraordinarily well, Henderson. It is a new building that's opened up in Admiralty. We started the project, I think, 2021. And there was a very clear leadership goal right from the deputy chair that we want to do something unique, and we want to do something unique for the community. And it has to be best in every possible way, not only beautiful looking. So the very first project meeting, we actually invited the facility managers to be part of the design, because the design and construction team will go away in 5 years' time. The facility management team need to live there for 50 years. If they don't have a stake, if they are not able to contribute on day one, how can we create something that is good for 50 years? So that was the first change, asking them, what is it your problem, and what do you want to see? How can you serve your end customers better? Were the questions before we started talking. Do you want a smart toilet? Do you want a sensor in the toilet tissue paper? No, that was not the question we asked. We asked the question about inclusive. What does it mean to you? Was the question. And they said, like, sometimes people come on wheelchair in front of the building, but we don't see. As a security guard, I sit in my concierge. I don't know that there's a person in wheelchair getting out of the taxi. He or she may need a help. But had I had a camera that does an analytics that tells me there's a wheelchair right outside, I will walk around to help this person. And this conversation happened on day one, before we had foundation of the building. So that is a great example for me, that before even you start constructing anything, thinking about who are the people who actually come to your building, and how can I help these people inclusively. Right, so I was kind of saying that the innovation shouldn't be a separate entity. It should be as part of the business, by the business, and for the business. Only then it can provide a tangible outcome. It is mutually satisfying. Like innovation team will see, like, my ideas are getting matured and shaped into business, and business will feel good that this innovation is directly responsible for me, rather than they doing a research completely something very different. So there's a good example, like there was an airline company for some reason doing innovation in a credit card chip. It's got nothing to relate with them in a way sometimes. So innovation has to be directly tangible, integrated with the core business. I hope what I say comes true by next year. So we are talking to one of the, let's say, most premium building in Hong Kong, where we can actually use AI-based drone inspection. And so after every typhoon, so that people don't need to go in a gondola or BMU looking into 40 floors, glass panel by glass panel, but you just fly a drone and you have a data analytics software behind the scene that says that there's a 2 millimeter crack in this particular panel on the 39th floor. That is what we are looking into. Again, as I said, multidisciplinary is extraordinarily important. So the construction industry, I believe that it will be more and more multidisciplinary coming into play, and it will adopt more and more of AIs and emerging technologies, robots, all these things will come in play. Right now we have all these sensors and cameras. These are very mature compared to maybe 10 years ago. where we are emerging now is how do you utilize this AI software? Because it's not easy. If I just take the building inspection, imagine sunlight outside. It's not the same from morning to night, or a rainy season, or a cloud. So the glass will change, the shadow will change. So how can you do an analysis that actually works at every point of time the same thing? So it's a very complex and challenging problem, and we hope that we will start that initiative soon.